Hi
Hi,
guys.
boys and girls, and non-binaries. Tochi here,
Seven here.
right? And welcome back to another episode of our breakdown. As you might know, if you're a first-time viewer, Alex, that's Seven, and I are long-time friends who drifted apart and recently reunited. And since then, we have been exploring elements of our personalities through music, our personal interests, and whatever ideologies we would have about random things. So yeah, we have. This should be like I can't keep count anymore, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. I can't keep count
So-
anymore, but when you check back in our previous videos, there are a bunch of things for you to feast on, from Seven by Taylor Swift to
The Marvelous Orange Tree
by
by
Deaf Heaven, to Never Grow Up by Taylor Swift, and Red, and
Hit
all
the
that, and
Wall.
Hit the Wall by Grace
Yeah.
Abrams. So there's just so much for you to feast on. And today we're back with another one. This is from Alex's playlist this time.
Yeah.
This is
This is Running from the Chase by Truth Club. I personally like this one.
right. So I mean, before we get into the whole shebang, like why the song?
Yes. So this song is about family dynamics, family legacy, and guilt, pain we carry from families. Yeah. So and I picked this song. I've known this song for a while, but I picked it because there was a time I was listening to this song, and I remembered sometime in the timeline of us being friends. Well, during back then in school, there was this very specific day that we had where you and myself and then Shalom, we all had this moment where we shared parts of our background, our family, and all that, and it was a very touching moment because it ended with us like hugging and crying.
How can I remember all of that?
It stayed with me because
Screams.
so that was we shared we just shared bits and pieces of like where we're coming from, being people who we're there, and then we found ourselves there, and then we're just like trying to survive together. And then that was the first time you shared with us about your dad passing.
Oh yeah.
And but one thing that stood out for me from that time was we were kids, but we felt like intense pressure to actually to prove something to our parents, to our families actually. And so that's when I listen to this song, it takes me back to that memory. And like it's something a lot of people still live with today, even like with age and everything. You still feel like you have to prove something to your parents. Like there's a legacy to uphold, or yeah. So
Wow, that is that is I didn't expect that turn, honestly. First of all, I mean, I don't know why I couldn't remember that, but I mean, I know there definitely, must have been times like that. And something you said about like we're kids, but we had this weight to prove things.
Yeah.
It's actually so real, because do you know it's only recently, like as an adult, that I got to realize how young we were then, and having to navigate life almost by ourselves, and really carrying all that weight on proving something at that age. Like we're so young, we had no business thinking about or having that sort of pressure.
we were literally kids.
Yeah.
We're literally kids. We're children.
Is that enough? I think there's a line in a Taylor Swift song that says, "Growing up precocious sometimes means not growing up at all."
Yeah.
I think we pretty much grew up precocious.
Yeah, because because you were an adult before you could finish
Even
childhood.
exactly.
You
Yeah,
specifically, because this is what for you specifically, because it was your story then that made us started crying.
Oh really?
And then we
I remember this.
we hugged. It was such a touching moment.
Oh my god! I would give up
because
anything to remember that event.
it stands out for me, like in my head. It's so clear as day.
Wow.
It was realizing how like so much you had to. There was so, because before that time, we all were just living, like trying to. We lived in the same space, and just trying to live together, and like but nobody. And I think we were coming to a point where friction and all that, we didn't really. There were some things I would do that you did not understand why I would do
Yeah,
them.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, some things
Yeah,
Shalom would,
yeah.
so like that day we just, it wasn't planned, we were just talking, and it was just this very organic thing that just like really touched all of us.
I can't wait for the song.
Yeah, so let's get into
Let's
it.
get into it. So the first one.
Yeah, so the verse one doesn't really have verses, it's just,
Oh, okay. I can see that even it wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, firstborn and the only one to date, the only thing they made work. So this is introducing a family dynamic here. So the firstborn and the only one, yeah, the only child, the only one they made work. So saying they're the firstborn, it's telling us that there were others, but maybe they're not around anymore, or like they don't like exist, and like the only one to date, and then the only thing they made work. So what I got from here is a broken relationship, but then this person is standing as like the proof of like
that union.
Yeah, something
that is
positive coming out from
that union.
Yeah, so-
that is, it's something you hear a lot from divorced people, where it's like when there's a separation or divorce or whatever, the child is like, they usually regard the child as like the only positive thing, or the only the one thing they could that is like a consolation out of that union, out of that experience. So wow, I think that makes sense.
So that already, seeing yourself as the only thing that they made work kind of like puts that pressure on you already. Like you have to, that's what I've like, you have to prove something. So like I'm told you can see them in my face, in my blood there is a kilt of our lives. So this is like it's something that happens every time when you meet people and they're trying to like inquire about your background. They ask you, it's a common question, they ask you who you look like the more, your dad or your mom, your parent, which of your parents you look like the more. And but this line, in my blood there's a kilt of our lives. Now a kilt is a piece of clothing that is made from other clothing. So it's like you have cotton, you have silk, it's just a piece of everything in one. And so so this is like saying, this is family traits, family whatever passed down
from
that from
the both sides.
that you now have to carry
all of them. So it's like, we have the mother, father, two different family, whatever. So it's like a marriage of all that stuff, being just rolled into just you, who's one person.
Yeah, so you have to, you're kind of like a representation of all that. So it's not just the good stuff, it's even
the bad
like
stuff.
Yeah, the bad stuff and all that. So like there's something very interesting that I learned. Yeah, so yesterday we talked about how like intense emotional stress can actually physically impact your heart, make your heart weak, and then you get to suffer like the heartbreak syndrome and all that. So I learned also that you can inherit trauma without experiencing it. So the way if your parents have had to experience or endure intense grief or like all of that, it's something, it impacts their biology, and it's something that can be passed on. So you can literally you can inherit trauma from your parents. So it's, you've heard things like, oh, the way you walk like your dad, or like maybe the way you respond to the way your dad does it or your mom does it, like even if you haven't really,
you just exhibit certain
you're like
dispositions of that.
They're not really, it's not dispositions that they're not learned traits. So like this is how I understand that part. And let's move on to if you have anything to
I pretty much I'm very much with a lot of things that you've said. which is like when those traits of mother father. I mean, this is where we talk about the dad's side always being the bad side or whatever.
Yeah.
So whatever bad or whatever you think of that disdain, don't forget that you might still have some of those things in you.
Yeah.
So when we talk about traits, we always think about traits from the good or from the positive perspective, but both the good and bad one, and then when you have to carry that, and then maybe to an extent you get to know, just like for instance, I don't know if it was you I was telling that sometime last year I got to realize that while growing up, our father's side is the side that we were more familiar and exposed to. And we're not really exposed to our mother's side as much. Typical. When a woman marries to man's family, an entire family becomes secondary. You get what I mean? So it was like recently we became more exposed to our mom's side, and then we got to realize that we took our intelligence from our mom's side. So the point is. And then all this while, if maybe you want to allude whatever, I would maybe allude it to my father's side because there is that side I was more exposed to, and I have known all my life. But now becoming an adult, so for the first time I'm seeing elements of my mother's side in me and some part of my father's side in me, and I'm like, okay, this is interesting. So you being that one person that embodies both is quite an interesting one.
So that's part of what this first block of it's trying to express. So it's like saying you're the firstborn of a family, a broken family, and like you're the only positive thing that has come out from this broken system, and then you're expected to be like different, being like your
There's
positive.
So much pressure that comes from that.
But then you carry their trauma, their everything that makes them that led them to that point where they become broken. You carry all of that, so you're imprinted. So it's like a dilemma. You're this thing that stands as proof that something can come out of somewhere damaged, but you're tainted.
That is profound.
So the false son puts a lot upon her plate, agonizing her worth. I love this part so much because this is, I think for a lot of people, this will be personal. So the false son is talking about feeling like you're not quite fulfilling the role that you are born to play as the son. So you feel false. Even for people who are born, for women who are like the firstborns, you see them, they get parentified from a young age, raised to raise their younger and all of that. And then when they, with all that pressure, and they feel they're not like quite meeting up to standards and all that, they fail. And they feel like they're failing.
That first daughter syndrome.
Exactly. And then one way, the first thing you think about when you already see yourself as a failure, you think about your mother, because society does this thing where, like, if you look at a child and you see that the child is doing well, they attribute it to the father. And then if the child is
the mother,
exactly.
I know. That's bullshit dynamics.
Agonizing her worth. Like the mother is there.
I had a sense that part was talking about mother.
Because the mother then is now thinking of her worth as a woman, as a mother, having raised
this.
Someone. Exactly.
This.
So you feel it. You feel that you're agonizing her worth, and so of course it was always gonna break. Dig through shards, so much left to divine. So this is the artist. It's not a long song.
So what is trying to tell me is, of course it was gonna break. So it's more like this is bound to happen. This is bound to happen. It's inevitable. I'm tainted from from within or from whatever. So it's like this is
So the only thing left to do now is to look through the shards, the broken shards, and see what can be
salvaged.
So that's
Oh my god! Oh my god!
so that's what.
Oh my god! I love that. I love the expression and the imagery of that. Like, this is like, what's the word? There's this sort of John on arrival, doomed from
Yeah.
the whatever, but let's dig through and see what is left to salvage if
Yeah.
there's ever anything. I love
So,
that.
yeah. So the artists or the band, they're trying to explore. Well, let's just keep going because every change splits me through,
True.
and I can't control how wide. Yeah, so of course, as you're trying to prove your worth, you go through so many cycles of change
And reinventions.
and reinventions, and you honestly you can't predict, neither can you control how the changes will actually impact your life, or even the turns it will take you. You can't predict these things because you can have a whole plan in your head, and then when it comes to it, you find that it's not quite following the plan you have in your head.
There's that pressure. There's just
Yeah.
like you're constantly pacing.
Yeah.
You're constantly pacing. You're constantly playing, like if you're a boy, you're constantly playing different versions of what you think should be or what should be expected of you to save whatever is left or whatever. So
Yeah.
I get that this sort of like you're constantly reinventing and pacing, and like that kind of happened to me as well, where you're restless. You're restless, and then when people ask you, you can't explain what it is. Like, but people like, I mean, stop pressuring yourself. You're still young, blah blah. It's not. It's not about me being young.
Yeah,
it's not about that.
Because part of the pressure also is it's feeling like we talked about this thing where watching our parents get old kind of terrifies us, because so part of the pressure is time. Because you think about time and how time is passing and how you have to get to where you want to get to quickly, as quick as
You
possible.
have to prove.
Yeah. So it's not just proving, it's like how fast can you do this
You
thing?
do this thing.
So it's crazy. So all
You
that
can't
stress,
control how wide. You can't control
how
the way. You can't control however turn that takes. For the most part, you can't.
you can't control it. So all the stress enervates, and so this word I
does it
checked
mean?
the meaning. So it's wait, for the sake of this, let's just
Check the meaning.
yeah.
Innovate meaning to weaken. Okay, to
Exhaust.
exhaust. Oh, no,
Deprive
I
someone
love
of
that
their-
they use that word. Like,
Yeah, so it kind of like
so the stress depletes.
yeah, your energy, and
I don't know how long that I can contend with the chase, but with nothing. Oh my god, I know what this is talking about. So it's like the stress weighs you, and there are times where you feel like, how long can I go with this? But then there's nothing else. You just gotta keep at it, because really that actual, oh my god, I think about this a lot. Like personally, like sometimes I ask myself, take a chill pill, relax. But then I'm asking myself, relax to what? If you relax, things are gonna get bad. Like if you like you see, your parents are getting old, you don't have the time. So relax as how? You don't have the luxury.
the luxury of like
That.
yeah.
And many times you just feel exhausted.
So
You know what? I can't contend with the chase.
I can contend with the chase, but with nothing else in mind. Like you just keep going forward with nothing else in mind. Like that's. So let's move on.
because for you like that thing is all that chase and that whatever is all you've optimized for. It's all you've been configured for.
Yeah.
In your side, in your head.
Yeah.
That is all you've been configured for as a human being. Where you have, I mean, maybe a lot of maybe your peers or so that don't maybe have to deal with that. It's like maybe they have to live for a different purpose. A lot of personal purpose or whatever. But it's like for you, this is pretty much all your existence is. And if you fail at that, your existence is worthless, or your worth is kind of tied to you salvaging that whatever. That's sort of what your worth is.
And sometimes about purpose, you don't even know what it is.
Exactly.
You don't know.
You don't know what it is. You just know that this got to be done, and it's not even about you all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what your entire worth is sort of tied to, that chase. And really, and I really like that they started from the fact that, like, you know, this is sort of tied to family and lineage. And you know, I don't know if I've told you before, I sort of have it in mind to sort of write a song about, you know, bloodline, like, you know, how like your bloodline can pretty much affect and just alter the trajectory of your entire life.
Oh, really?
Even like sort of the image is more like from the labor room or from the delivery room, that your fate to an extent has been sealed. You know, where you're just one of those very.
Okay.
So this is sort of giving me ideas for that.
I see that.
Yeah, but this is because it's sort of talking about a lot of bloodline and trauma you get to carry from.
Because history is real.
It is.
History is real, and history is passed down.
It is.
So.
It is.
I'll be very like.
This is.
That's something I'll be.
This is giving me that, and this is not something I've seen that many exploration about,
right?
Like, you know, bloodline and the things that we carry from family and from our homes. And I think what kills me is the pressure that comes from that.
Yeah, and I like that. I don't know if any member of the band is like the firstborn, and like I don't know, but I like that.
This is giving. So I mean. Okay, for this is giving like eldest child, but
you can apply.
But I can apply it to mine. I'm seeing how it's playing for me is you might not. Sometimes you might not be the eldest child. Sometimes you might be that child that just stands out,
exactly.
Right? And so that other pressure is not upon you. In my case, I'm the last child, right? But many times I always feel like I am burdened with so much not like responsibility from family, like. Life, universe in general. I just feel like I was the chosen one for that, and all that burden is upon me.
That feeling like the chosen
one, exactly, for that, to salvage whatever it is, whatever family curse or whatever it is.
It's a lot.
I always feel like it. So it's so much pressure. So I always feel like the eldest person, even if it's not literal sense, but I always feel like that chosen one that has to break this curse.
For me also, I think in one of the episodes, one of our sessions we've done, we talked about how, like, when we were feeling different as we were, I don't know if it was you. I'm trying to remember. But anyway, let's carry on.
Yeah, and then I can continue. I don't know how long that I can continue with the chase, typically, because you really at some point you be asking yourself, how long can I go? How long can this continue? Me, I think I don't know if it was you. I was telling someone that, look, by the time I'm 30, I want to wrap this shit up. I want to wrap all this, like, this chase, and like, so for me, I've sort of kept it in my head, but now I cannot assure you that I'll turn 30 today and it's automatically going to stop. You get what I mean? But you as a person, you're trying to put a distance to it, like, you know, I don't know how long I can continue this chase, and you're trying to set a stamp or a timer to it, but hey, the universe could have other plans, right? With nothing else in mind. I push on with little celebration, blessed with such a curse to fight it. Okay, go ahead while I think about it.
Okay, I push on with little celebration. That's already like saying, in all of this struggle, in all of this stress, that times you feel like little celebrations. So
like that is why I eat a lot. That's why I make merry a lot.
So blessed with such a curse to
fight it.
You know how
that's a clever line.
You know how, like, I'm sure this is something you felt also, that this thing, this chase, this thing that you have to prove, like, it's a blessing.
Yes.
Like, you've been blessed with such a responsibility to kind of like pull people out of something you see as like, you feel
family threads all along. You
see it as a burden, but you also, in the same vein, you also see it like a blessing,
Yeah, you
a
feel like
responsibility.
it's that thing of feeling like the chosen one.
Yeah, the chosen
Yeah,
one.
I feel like the chosen one with that is
Yeah.
laden with this superpower. I feel
Yeah.
like that's what this is saying. You're
Exactly.
laden.
Yeah,
Is
so-
it laden or laden? It's laden, right? It's
Yeah.
like in English,
Laden.
You're
I think,
laden.
yeah.
Whatever. with the superpowers to avert this.
Yeah, that's what.
And my sister, it's a conversation my sister and I have a lot, and that's like pretty much it. Put in words, you're blessed with, this curse too, and that's how I always feel. That's why I say that. I think I've told you I really want my first album to be titled "Desperate Prayers of a Cursed Man."
Oh yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
because I
we
always
talked about
feel
that. Yeah.
cursed. Many times I always feel cursed. That's like how I always like describe myself to myself. I'm a cursed person, so it's very much in line to.
And I think this struggle is something a lot of people can like relate to because
Of course, I'm sorry, they can relate to it, but they always brush it up with a lot of positive things,
Yeah.
affirmations.
yeah,
I love this is self-deprecating. It's self-deprecating, and it's not what a lot of people are very. I mean, we'll talk about a song "Loser Like Me" as well. So this is very self-deprecating. No, it's not what a lot of people don't do well with self-deprecation.
yeah,
Yeah, so best way the cause to fight it. And really, my sister told me one day that I made a statement when I was like say 18, 19, like that I said to her that I feel like I think when she was when I said I wasn't going back to school.
Yeah.
And then she tried to she said I said to her that I feel like I'm the one that has been ordained to get our family out of this mess. She said I said that, but I'm like, I don't remember ever saying that. And she said she can swear I said that to her. I said I don't remember ever saying that. These are thoughts that I've had to myself, but I don't remember ever say, because I never try to make my family feel like there is an issue we have in this place and somebody has to fight for it, like has to battle it head on. Because not to give away too much, this song resonates so deep. I'll actually go listen to it. This song resonates so deeply because in my family, for instance, there's a sort of pattern.
okay,
There's a sort of trait like of the same cycle, rat race, generation to generation, generation. And then when I look even at the entire family now, I just sort of feel like the one person that is just a bit different.
oh,
Yeah.
what you said, what you just said, this is like there's nothing to add. This is me. This is my family. I've right from childhood, I've always felt, apart from feeling different as a child, I've felt like I am the chosen one. I felt like I'm I told you, I think I shared yesterday that we grew up in a small town. Yeah, so when I've always wanted to leave because I felt different from everything and everyone.
Because it's okay to actually be in that small town and be in that small setting, and it's okay and that's all right. But the fact that you're thinking that I'm the chosen one, that's a curse.
Yeah, exactly. And this is not just coming from it's seeing everything around you and
knowing fully well that you don't want to be.
Yeah, your
part of that.
You even see the way your parents kind of like, even in unspoken ways, they put a lot of you've said you yesterday you shared how you were the standout kid even in school with all your gifts and everything, because that was how I was too. So you see your parents kind of like dote on you, like talk about your. I had this thing where my parents would always compare me to my siblings because of how well I did in school. And as a child, I would feel very bad about that. But I mean, there were moments I would feel proud about it. But like, as I grew in secondary school, it started to bother me because the comparison, it didn't feel comfortable anymore because you start to feel the pressure then. Because with that kind of comparison, they just expect you to always be at the top of everything. So like, from that young age, you already feel like, okay, so you have a responsibility
I feel that. And it's also like everything we said now is also something that my friend and I, my friend Melody and I always talk about. Like, every time we're sad, we're depressed,
yeah.
and then when you do an autopsy or like of like what is really going on with you guys, there's nothing tangible you can find. And the only thing is that when you look, we just want to not be at this level.
Yeah.
Even if for where we're coming from and to our peers, we are at our best. But we don't feel like that because of there's always this thing of we should be better. It should be better. But then when you look at where we're coming from, you know fully well that we are so much like we're doing amazing. But because of there is this curse to break that pattern, even when you're seemingly doing amazing, you don't feel like you are.
Yeah.
Right? For instance, I mean, I don't want to go into like detail, but you get what I mean? Like,
I get that.
there's a kind of system you emerge from, right? Or setting you emerge from. You're above like this, they're there, right?
Yeah.
For the bare fact that you're able to even rise from, because those people that are there, they're actually okay, and to them it's not a big deal being like that. But the fact that you are able, like, it's a curse, and then you also want to save them as well. Sometimes people they're like, what is it? I'm okay like this. What's your problem? But then you having those instincts to even want to save them is a curse. I also give an instance like I was speaking to her. I was telling her I really feel very jealous of. I don't want to call names, but I feel jealous of certain people who have not achieved so much, who have not done, like, say, when I look at, say, work experience, career and everything, a lot of my friends or peers that I feel like, okay, they've not really done what but they're not even half as unhappy as I am. They're so happy, they're so positive about life, about everything, even with their level, this thing, right? And me, who has seemingly done some this thing, who they even sort of look up to certain things, I always feel inadequate. So I always feel so jealous of those people that feel this thing.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I wish I don't have to bear this curse of always feeling inadequate despite whatever I achieve, despite all the things I've been able to do. I always feel inadequate. It's a curse.
It is. It is. And
Because you're always trying to up the ante, and I'm telling you all the many things I have lined up to do. It's not because I can't just select a few and just focus, but it's like there's this. Now we're talking about it. All of this I'm complaining there are things to do, blah blah blah. Who is forcing me to do them?
You see, that's true.
That's forcing me to do them.
That's a real question.
Who is forcing me to do them? And that's because it's stemming from a place of I know I need to fight this thing.
Yeah.
You know, to earn a good living for not just myself. Because I always jokingly say, if it's just me in the world, I'm actually doing just fine. I'm okay. But now I know that I have to do all these things because I always have family. I think about the trauma. I think about the battles we have to fight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got to double down. But then there are some other people that could be in that same family as well, and they feel like, we're okay now. We have a house, we have a roof. So the mere fact that you or having to fight all of that, it's a curse.
It's a curse, and you feel trapped. You don't even realize it, but you feel trapped.
There's a film I was watching. I've forgotten the film title or whatever, but there's this saying like something like, "Forgetting is a gift."
That is so true.
So there was one. So I've forgotten the plot of the film. So something like some people were drugged or whatever, and if you drink a venom, you start remembering everything. So some people were drugged in an island. They were drugged and they get abused and raped and assaulted. They don't know because they didn't have the memory. Right?
I think I know the movie you're talking about.
It was a popular film. I forgot the name, right? And then when you drink a venom, I think there's one part, the woman that usually sees their phones, where she drank the venom and started remembering, she has to fight the person that gave her that venom because she was like, forgetting is a gift. Why do you want to make me remember? So being cautious of these things is a curse. Sometimes I even feel like being ambitious is a curse.
It is, because it traps you in this place where you constantly have to.
You're on edge.
Yeah.
You want to prove something. Like,
and let's even like take it out of like ourselves now and look at like people in the world. Let's talk about queer people. Let's talk about queer men. Let's talk about gay men. You see, I have a friend who he wasn't. There was no pressure to get married or anything, but he put himself in this situation where because he felt that um, he had to stand out in some way as okay. So he has three sisters, and he's like the only male child in the family. The dad is not in the picture, but and the mom wasn't pressuring him to do any. The mom has never raised anything about marriage or anything, but he felt so that's pressure on himself was like it's silent because nobody has ever said anything about getting married, but he has always just felt that there was a role he had to fulfill, like getting married and then having kids. Like the pressure is so, and this is a gay man, and imagine living with that. Imagine living with that kind of like. I can't imagine it.
I see that you're trying to fix what is not even cracked or whatever.
Yeah.
And that instinct of just even wanting to fix what is not cracked there's a curse attached to it.
Yeah, because
the curse of always there's a curse in knowing something.
Yeah.
You know when people say ignorance is bliss.
Exactly, because now so the thing is you know how society sees male progeny and like males, you are the one who has to carry the family lineage forward and all that, and then being like the only son,
it automatically burdens you.
Yeah.
It already places something on your chest without saying.
Yeah, exactly. So this is so,
and this pretty much gives that firstborn and the only one to date.
Yeah,
in a lot of families, I mean, in a lot of Nigerian families, the women, great, but the men are like the main thing.
In some way, you can just be singled out as the only thing.
Yeah, the only thing. Yeah,
the firstborn, the only son.
I'll give you an instance. I grew up. What I call it? It's not a small town, but in a very razas town, and we have two neighbors. Right, these two neighbors, they have only one son, but they have daughters. They have, and the daughters are like the oldest. For the two neighbors, the sons are the youngest, the last born. They have 4 daughters. The other one has three daughters, and then the son. But now this man or this family, all of them, for both families, all the daughters went to public schools. No, even if they were smarter than the boy, all the daughters went to public schools, and they're much even older than the boy. And I think the boy and I are like peers. And when it was time for the boys, private school. And the boys are not any smarter than the girls. The girls are smarter than the boy. So all the girls went to government school. And the men would tell you that after they're going to get married, why they go to government schools. And the boys went to public schools. And as fate will have it, one of the boys ended up dying.
Oh.
Yeah, wow. He died when we were just 3 or thereabouts. So you're not left with just your girls that you didn't even invest in. So it's like, and then the other boy was sent to university, splurged money, like typical classic stories. Yeah, these are people I know. For the person I say is asking me for money today is one of the boys.
Wow.
So that one now he never eventually went to school because after 4 years he thought he was in school. He splurged the money and everything, and then there are the girls, there are the sisters that even now go to university because of their girls. So it makes sense to say that to call them the only one today, because in a typical home like that, the boys are the only ones that such investments and all that stuff is being channeled towards.
Oh my God.
I mean, fortunately, really, I didn't have that sort of situation in my. Actually. Is it something I want to say here? So, like I said, when I look at all of those places I'm from, all those things I've actually there's no reason why I shouldn't still be there. But to be able to be fighting to get out of that is a curse.
It is.
It is.
It is. And sometimes we forget how heavy it is, how it is the machine behind everything we actually do. Like, it's crazy.
It's crazy. God, I don't even look how that line has really sent on a spiral. But
well, the following one, the next ones are like.
Let's see. Yeah, you can go.
This is crushing. Okay, so let's go. A strong love, never questioned if they gave. but expressions seem to diverge. Now, there's no question about your parents' love for you as a child, but sometimes the way they express that love, it diverges that even you as a child, you don't feel. I've had moments where, or like I've heard people question if they were adopted. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
People come online and say sometimes they feel like they're adopted because, and this is because of the way the parents treat them. But it's the same parents who will give an arm and a leg, like anything for their child. So it's
This is so real. I mean,
Yeah.
are you done? Like, because I have something to
I
say.
mean, like, this is
that
Go,
is
carry
so that is so real, because
so. I am sure I am echoing the same quick to glean unintended advice. So I am sure let's I think we'll look at this one. I'm sure I am echoing the same. So it's still that thing about patterns. You don't know you inherit from your parents because I've heard stories so many times of people not wanting to be like their parents, and then they have kids, and then they see that they're actually like their parents. They're displaying the same thing, the same
traits,
their parents. Yeah,
and it worries one, especially. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't have any personal. You know, God, this song is making me spill too many personal things.
I'm sorry. I feel like I have to apologize at this
I
point.
feel like this is the most personal we've shared.
Yeah, because
oh my God,
I'm saying things that I'm questioning in my mind
like,
if I should share.
do I want to get this out? I don't want to share this. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm not going to say this. Maybe I will say this outside the camera. Or maybe I will cut this. I don't know. I'm not going to say this, but because it's a bit too personal to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move on to the next line. I'm sorry, but I'm going to put a goddamn mark on that line, and I will say it after this, but it's a bit too personal to say.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, but I hear that about, like, maybe just
Yeah.
gloss over a bit without naming characters, especially when said parents, like, say for instance, now you are a lady, you love your dad and everything, but you just know your dad doesn't have the best. Your dad wasn't the best of characters. Even if you love him and everything, when you see your child exhibiting certain traits that seems to point towards that, you can't help it. You're scared. Doesn't mean you hate your dad or whatever, but you're just a bit worried, and then you're asking yourself, could it be this? Could it be that? Or what exactly is this about? Is that comparing that point? And
it's almost like something you can't, because this is a confession.
It's a confession.
Because they're telling themselves that they're going back in time to look at, like, yeah, their parents loved them, even if the expressions of that love didn't, like, align with what they're supposed to feel, and now they fear that they're echoing the same of traits. Yeah. So, like,
this hits so close to home. I wish I could share some of this, but this hits so close to home. Honestly speaking,
yes, sir.
Yeah, Shana, it hits so close to home. So yeah, it's like, oh God, it's like sort of it's like seeing a deja vu. It's like seeing history repeat itself. It's like seeing a pattern.
Yeah.
Maybe for instance, for me, it's like seeing a pattern, or seeing or hearing or learning about a pattern, maybe from a parental, like maybe as a person you saw certain pattern with your parents, and then maybe you not grow up, and then you're not seeing certain patterns with your sibling, and then you're wondering, because as a child, when you see this pattern with your parents, also you're a child, is this thing, but then as you're growing with your siblings, and then you start seeing certain pattern with your sibling, and you're like,
you wonder if it's generational. And some people kind of make decisions about, like, having kids based on this. They don't want to have. They feel like they carry something tainted that they don't want to pass down. So
and that's why a lot of people are also, like, very big on maybe who they get to not have kids with.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. True.
Because knowing fully well, for instance, now I think that's part of my business. I know what I'm about. I know what I am and where I came from and all I have and all I've had to battle. And I know fully well that if I want to have kids, if I ever want to have kids,
I don't know if I have kids too.
as I say, if I ever want to have kids, I know where to not go to.
True.
I know it's not good to.
Yeah.
And that's for the sole and the sole reason is because of, like I said, I know what I am, I know where I've come from, I know what comes from that place,
Yeah.
I know what I have seen, I know what I've battled, and I know where to not go to.
My God, this is mine.
So yeah, oh my God, this is like, I didn't expect this song to actually make me feel like this, but
It takes you places when you sit with this. When you sit with it.
I don't want to.
So let's carry on. So
I'm scared we will end up like his friend.
work until
he's
he's dead. Work until we're dead. Is there any?
We're dead. Is there any other plan? Fell down off the ladder as he clenched his chest.
Yeah. So this is talking about this part. I mean, the way I like saw it is, the fear of this is talking about work, the cycle. So because one question I've asked myself, I think about living life around work, and wondering if this is all there is to life.
Preach.
This is what I picked out from this, because the artist is wondering, they're scared if they'll end up like his friends, like maybe the father's friend who fell down off a ladder as he clutched his chest. So this obviously somebody at work being handy, and then you have a heart attack on the ladder and then fall down because clutch his chest.
So yeah, I think how I'm sort of interpreting this is, or how maybe I'll connect this to the previous part, the previous stanzas.
Yeah.
Is like, you know, that thing of, like you rightly said, something you ask yourself, is this all there is to life?
Yeah.
Just work. Which is like, amidst these fights, amidst these traumas of fights and everything, is like, does it ever end? Like you just keep doing it.
Yeah.
And all you say is like, trauma work to survive, and it just keeps going till it, like there is no, and that's about it.
Yeah, because everything you actually do, everything. See, so one thing,
Because you're doing all of this hoping that there's this time it will get to,
Yeah.
and everything is all sorted, and everything is all right. But instead, maybe the reality is that you're just gonna keep getting stuck in this loop,
yeah.
until one day
I have a very damning existential moment when I realized that this life is all about work.
Yeah.
Life is all about work, and it never really ends.
Regardless of your trauma or whatever, you just keep.
It's work. Everything you do to survive, everything you do to actually just do living is work. It's tied to work.
So you're scared that. So what was I saying? So you're scared that, because like with all of this trauma, all of this thing you're trying to fight and everything, so you're scared that there will not be particular ending point.
Yeah.
Typically, when you're racing, right, there's meant to be a finish line.
Yeah.
There's meant to be an end point where that's like, oh, it signals finality. Oh, amazing! I am done. I've won this battle. I have. And I usually ask myself that question, like, so what if I'm not able to actually do everything I really want to do? What if I'm not able to get my family out of the situation I want to get them out of? What if I just keep working and this is just an endless loop and we just keep working until you decide to go
work until you're dead?
Like, and just about it. Because some people don't. Because think about people that everybody that has died had plans on how to what they wanted to change in the world around them, with their family or so.
And then what happens to all
and
of
what
that?
happens to all of that? They're gone.
It's crazy.
So it's like, is there ever? I've really asked myself that question. Is there ever a time where you look back and be like, oh, I did it, or I don't know, or are you gonna fall off along the way?
It's also realizing
It's
that
scary.
there's never really like an end to that, because you literally just you work until you die.
You just walk until you die.
There was this story I read. I saw it on Twitter. A worker who was discovered like 1 week after she died in her cubicle.
In Nigeria?
No, like I think in the US, her colleagues were coming to work. They were doing work and like leaving every day, and nobody even checked up on her. Like go to her cubicle to like look, and she was dead for like a week, and nobody realized.
Fuck.
And she died while working, while trying to complete tasks, while waiting for the next call.
Oh my God, that is-
while like that is so. When you think about that,
And obviously someone like that will have her own
Yeah.
thing she was trying to fight and deal with and battle and to have
and she didn't really have family. She only, I mean, her family was fractured. So she had this nephew she was close to that wanted to reach out, which was how they found out that she was dead. So the nephew was trying to reach out. She wasn't replying, and he got concerned and like reached out to. He said he thought his aunt was missing or something must have happened to her. So they now they in trying to find they traced it back to her place where she lived and then to her place of work. And when they went there, it was now when her colleagues went to her cubicle and like, oh, she's been there forever. We always see her there because they see your head, they see that you're at your desk. And yeah, the police, they went there. The colleagues said, "Oh, she's there. She's been at her desk and something working on something. She's always there." And the police went there and tried to. She's gone. She's been gone for like more than a week.
crazy.
It's cold.
It's scary.
Oh my god.
Oh my God, no. Yeah, you know, like even I think when this Alex Ekibo died,
Yeah.
it really made me also really think because I'm like I was asking myself that when I was seeing his family post about him and everything, I'm like, I imagine this guy to have things he wants to do for his family. You have curses he's trying to avert or whatever, and it's just gone like that. That sent shivers down my spine. Like,
Yeah, I often wonder about the finality of existence.
I mean, not like I'm scared about it.
I'm not
but
scared, but like
I don't
you
want-
think about
I don't
it.
live on like I don't want to leave things undone. That's my biggest
Okay,
concern.
yeah.
Leaving things undone is my biggest concern because I imagine like I always ask myself like if anything happens to me right now, it's not going to fare well for my family, and that is my biggest fear. Not like I'm scared to die, but I'm just scared of the timing. Like, can I have like $1 million first, please? And just
That is
you get what you get what I mean, so that at least they're sorted.
Yeah, because I always, in my mind, every time I always feel like for myself, I don't think I need to do much for myself. I think if I have enough to be like live comfortably, like, I don't even need to see the world.
Yeah, I don't care.
I don't care.
My family is what I
But,
care about.
yeah, I think if I get to a point where I know that my family is okay, I think I can feel like I would feel like my work is done.
Yeah, same.
And I wouldn't even care.
Same. That's my only concern about dying is the fact that if I die right now, my family will not find it funny. If I'm a billionaire, like if I've got some, I think that's to be a billionaire. If I have like some good, maybe $5 million down, that's why I'm hustling because, girl, some $5 million right now, I'll just write my will, and anything can happen, and I know that. Oh yeah, like I mean, look at someone like Michael Jackson, for instance. I feel like that's like one of the. I mean, of course, it was a very tragic death or whatever, but like having to die and then you leave all that stuff for your family, and like they don't have. At least I'm not sure they have money problems. Because let's be honest, money problems are real.
Of course, I mean, money makes the world go
The
round.
fact that like his family doesn't have to think about, like, for me, that is like the way I would love to die.
Yeah.
Where I've had things. I mean, I was reading somewhere Taylor Swift is now worth $2 billion for my music. That could have just been me. That could have just been me. You get what I mean? Like, but yeah. Yeah. I like how we go deep into, with all of these things, but
Yeah, this one it's not a song you would expect to actually touch on things like, but like if you're just listening, but when you start looking at, it goes deep. So let's carry on. It's one story, one need, still carried, shooting right through me. I hope I shape it into something sweet to nourish one right in front of me. So this is hopeful. This is the part of the song that is hopeful. Like they're admitting that all of this trauma, inherited trauma, legacy you feel like you have to uphold. It's one story, not just for you, just but like for every, because you see it everywhere. It seems like everybody is trying to like live up to the same, even if it's different for everybody, but like there's that one story of trying to live up to something that you have to prove to the people. Yeah, there's that one story, and there's also like that one need of like your curse, your blessing, the thing you have to, your mission.
I hear that, and because it's pretty much an element of what we experience, which is like amidst all that madness and you feeling cursed or whatever.
Yeah,
there's still buckets of periods where you feel so hopeful.
Yeah,
where you feel you feel. To be honest with you, I mean, I'm not all sad. There are times I always feel so positive and everything. Like just keep moving, carry on, keep it moving. It's gonna. Even amidst the fear, the concerns, and the many whatever, you still sort of, there's always that glimmer of this thing. You just live for the hope of it all. That's like you live for the hope of I mean, just what if it could get better?
Yeah, exactly. Because even for people who now have kids, it's just something they hope for, that they can carry all of that and like pass it on to their kids. Not just make all of that into something positive, something that can nourish the generation after them, something they can pass on, that would be like the thing they hope they become, like this thing they say, breaking generational curses, and all. They hope they become that point where everything is broken, and then from that point, from where the whole positive thing comes from.
That is very is very profound, because I mean, I'll just maybe God, is this too personal to say? God, I beg.
So because see that breaking a generational curse thing is real, because when we started, I said something about like how trauma is inherited, and then when you move somewhere, like the external the external situation and everything kind of shapes how you respond to trauma. So all of what you've inherited from where you're coming from your parents, from your family, and then they start to find different outlets to kind of like express all of that. It changes the dynamic entirely, so that what you now have to pass on to the people in front of you, it's something that is changed forever. So it's not just physical, it's biological also. Like, so in a very real sense, something is being done, like in the genetics of everything.
Yeah, I agree. So this still carries shooting right through me. Honestly, it's pretty much, it mirrors to nourish. I hope I shape it to nourish one right in front of me.
Because
for me, actually, it's like the people that come
after
you. That's
being nourished.
You've shaped it into something like you can never compare. You birth a child in Nigeria right now. You can never compare it to where you birth a child in a developed country. And when that child grows up, they will be grateful for it. It's sweet. You're happy. Look at what's happening in the country right now.
True.
And then knowing fully. So whenever I think about it, knowing fully what I know that if we have kids, my sister has kids, they just shielded to an extent from all the madness going on in the country, right? And that, like, you have no idea how that makes me feel more relaxed, and that's how hopeful that makes me feel. That's breaking generational curse, because like I said, based on where we originally are coming from, based on who we typically are, we have no business being at that level. Those things don't happen to people like us. But yeah, it's been shaped into something sweet.
Wait, so This song.
God, I feel like I shared too much.
I feel like yeah, I feel like we should.
I feel like we shared too
Should we
much.
share
We should
this?
scrap this episode.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
nobody
know.
Should, nobody should cost me. Oh.
I feel like I shared too
I
much.
feel like we shared too much, actually. I don't know. Let's think about it. When we're editing, we'll think about it. But yeah. Anything else? Got anything else to add? Or you don't
I
share
feel like
anymore?
I feel like I'll share too much.
Shared
if I-
enough,
yeah,
right?
I think-
I know, God.
But-
I feel so somehow. I hope nobody from my house watches this though.
But I just want people watching to kind of like sit with that, like the pressure, you're carrying from
Home.
home.
Your bloodline.
How are we dealing with it?
Like many times I ask myself, like, is anything wrong with my bloodline? Is there this thing about tracing, tracing your ancestry?
Yeah.
People do it for fun, but me, when I think about doing it, I do it from a place of I want to trace where our issue is from. Is there anything? Oh my God, I'm not supposed to say this as well, but fuck it. I need to confirm some things.
Look at us.
I need to confirm. And if you didn't feel like you have anything, you wouldn't care about things like that. Right?
Yeah,
Because
because
a lot of people trace ancestry for fun, just to know their heritage. Because I don't want to know my heritage, honey. I just want to know what is going on.
because that is so real. Because even from the point of even as a family, my family, it's something we've tried to do. Not going to a herbalist, of course, but like seeking
Spiritual.
the face of God, trying like asking God questions,
God,
like calling. I mean, they'll do it the way they think.
Yeah.
So I'm not like me. I'm not part of all of that. But like this is what it's part of like trying to actually find out.
Because many times I
where-
always feel like is there a curse somewhere? Is there
because
something's just happened and you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Because in the conversations around this topic of trying to find out like where the issue is from, they've talked about like my grandparents. I never met most of them, and I didn't meet I only met my dad's mom, that's my grandmother from my paternal grandmother, and she died when I was like 5. So I don't really know anything about her. My dad's dad, nobody saw him. He died when my dad was like very young, even before my dad moved to town and everything and started family. Before my dad started family, he had died. My uncle was still a child when my dad's dad died. And then I've told you about my grandparents from my mom. I don't think that's something I want to share here, but like
Yeah, I remember.
yeah. So that we've part of the conversation in trying to like trace the history of the family is asking questions about these people.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't even you hit a dead end. You can't even trace it. You can't go back. You can't go further back than like
Honestly,
your parents.
Many times I really am curious to know about my grandparents. Like you said, my mom as well. I don't even know her parents. We didn't meet them. They died long before my mom even got married. My dad, I didn't meet his dad. I met his mom, but she was already very old by the time I was born. So I'm just curious, like what is going on? Also, like certain traits that I have, where is it coming from? Like I'm just curious to know. Could it be that? Because I know my grandfather. I know he was like into some sort of fetish thing. So you don't know where some of these things are coming from and all that stuff. So I'm just generally curious. Like I want to know. But yeah, I mean, Alex, don't bring songs like this again, please.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I am so
and
sorry.
Please, I hope my family never watches this. I hope they never watch this.
I hope
ever. Because this is crazy. And if you're ever going through this, or if you're someone out there who is probably going through this, because I think we sharing this is also a way to let people know that look, these things are there. It's part of real life. It's part of real life. It's not abstract. And shout out to this artist for being this, genuine. It's not abstract. These are questions we should all ask ourselves and think about it. And really, if something that you already have, been ruminating on, I want you to know that you're not alone. There are lots of us. There are a legion of us. Okay.
Yeah.
So
People have real problems.
People have real problems, hon, and sometimes those problems you don't even know where they're from. Sometimes you can trace them to your bloodline.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, and I really hope this was worth it for you. And please, as much as possible, I think this will be the first time I am saying this, for you to please do well to subscribe to this channel.
Please, guys.
No, don't beg anybody to fuck. Don't beg anybody. Yeah, see you when we see you, okay? Ta-ta!